You don't come in here saying somebody's lying to you at all.
Like she was saying, I didn't even have Section 8. I was lying, and I was showing her
All right,
email.
I've listened to enough.
I'm about done with you.
Brenner, we do not have an agreement on this one. This is the one the defendant is on Section 8.
Yes.
And she's indicated to me that it's going to begin again in February. I asked for some verification of that. I didn't see any verification. My client doesn't have any verification of that. So at this point, she also says she applied to SER, correct?
Right.
But I didn't have proof of that either. So
you did an SCR?
Okay, how you doing? This is the issue. Last week, when her and I discussed it, the complex was saying, first of all, I was working. I do have Section 8. I pay a portion of my rent. I have welfare to work. So the manufacturing, I lost my job. They did just a surprise layoff on the 4th. So at that point, I let the office know this will be my last check. I gave them $700, which is my whole check. I told them that I would have to put this in through my Section 8, let them know what was going on. At that point, they said that I owe $400 for security when I first moved in. I've been there almost a year. I felt like I didn't agree with that. Their paperwork wasn't accurate. We met last week on Zoom, and then she was saying that she agreed with me that they didn't know exactly what the numbers were. Now, I guess they have that worked out. So now they're saying that I owe, I believe, 1,700. I told her that I just recently got my job or the 29th, so I won't get paid until the 9th. I explained to I don't know.
It's luck off.
Yes. What's her name, sir?
Luck off.
Okay, to the lawyer that I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes, I explained to this man.
I usually spot it a little bit, but
Excuse me. I could go into payment arrangements for this other team. Excuse me. I can make an arrangement on the 6th, on the 9th, and the 16th, have it paid off. Then she was explaining February rent. I was explaining to her that I do have Section 8 and I do have my SCR and all my paperwork in here. She was just really not trying to hear it, and I didn't want to evolve the situation, so I just asked to speak directly to you. So I was trying to explain to her that I've already put in my paperwork with Section 8 saying that I am not working. They have to verify everything, which takes a minute, but the rent will be paid for February. So that just leaves me with.
Okay, a couple things, right? A couple things, because, and this one might be petty. I'm gonna just start with this. Who thinks if they said her name and it was hard to pronounce or whatever the case, and then they were like, yeah, the lawyer. Like if her name was something Taiwana Fuquisha, and then somebody in the courtroom basically embarrassed her like that and just said, her name is what? Say it again. Yeah, that lawyer, whatever. Who thinks she wouldn't take that as disrespect and acting fool? But you just did it to this woman. Now, we got to go back to this sheet real quick, because this sheet actually reveals a lot. If we go back and if we review this, I'll blow it up a little bit. Basically, there's two things that caught my eye here, and then they kind of unpacked it a little bit. The first thing was, it said, tenant says job loss caused delay. But then if you look right below that, it says tenant claims Section 8 adjustment pending. Because the whole time what I'm wondering is, if you got laid off from your job, then the simple thing would be to apply for is unemployment, not a Section 8 adjustment. Apply for unemployment. But if you know anything about unemployment, in order to continue to receive that, there's a certain degree of accountability that they hold you to ensure that you're applying for jobs and that you're trying to hurry up and get a new job and get off of it. However, the Section 8 adjustment, where they can adjust it now to zero income, people like to just stay in that place for as long as possible. And there's really no urgency to make you get a job after that. So It seems like she may be trying to take advantage. It's possible, because why didn't you apply to unemployment? You applied for an adjustment so quick on your Section 8, but you didn't. It doesn't appear that you applied for unemployment, because that'll set in pretty quick.
For February. So that just leaves me with what I got going on now. And she said that's not good enough for her. Then I explained to her I did put in an SER, and she said I didn't have proof. I have proof on my phone right here and a tracking number. She said I was supposed to put it in on a certain day. The reason why I didn't go in on that day because they didn't even know how much I owed on our last hearing. So once they were still trying to figure out everything, I just went ahead. SOS told me to just put in an SER just to protect myself. I'm not really trying to get resources because I can try to do this on my own. I was just trying to put a hold on until I got my paychecks going back. And she didn't seem to understand that. So that's why we couldn't come up to a conclusion or agreement. And she wanted me to say that this is where the problem came in. She wanted me to agree to pay the whole amount. And I told her I was not comfortable agreeing because I have a contract with Section 8. So Section 8 has to pay my portion until I get back able to do it myself, which would be next month. And she wasn't understanding that. And that's what left us to where we are. Sorry, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. You filed for an
Is the
adjustment.
claim 1731
Yes,
77?
yes.
Thank you.
And I would ask for entry of a judgment at this juncture, Your Honor. I don't believe that.
Able to do it myself, which would be next month. And she wasn't understanding that. And that's what left us to where we are. Sorry, if that makes sense.
Is the claim 1731
Yes,
77?
yes.
Thank you.
And I would ask for entry of a judgment at this juncture, Your Honor. I don't believe the paperwork was submitted to the court like Judge Barr indicated had to be. That's plaintiff's position and request.
I would like an adjournment because I submitted it and
Submitted what?
I submitted the SCR and I
Did you bring it over to the court?
No, because at the time we went to court. I think they said that it had to be due on Wednesday. We didn't even know they were still trying to figure out what was the amount that was owed because last time we were here, you and I both agreed that.
Okay, but how much was supposed to be submitted? Well, not submitted. How much? Let me go back to the SCR. What date did you do your SCR?
I did my SCR Wednesday night, which means it went through Thursday morning.
Wednesday night being the 10th?
Last week.
Should have been the 10th.
I'm sorry.
The 10th of January?
The day after we had court. I just have the tracking number.
You had court on the what?
It was last week, Your Honor. It was on the 12th.
So you had your SCR in before that
No, I
date?
had it the day after court.
Court was on a Friday, Your Honor.
Well, Monday, I'm sorry. The next following day. I did it after.
So you did it on MLK Day?
I believe so, on the internet. I have the track.
Okay, gotcha. So let me ask you this, and Ms. Luckoff, maybe you can clarify this because this has been coming up for me. At the first hearing, when they're told they need to do that, are they telling them that they need to also have the form?
Yes, they're telling them they need to submit the form within 5 days to the court.
That's not what was told to me. They didn't even have they were still trying to figure out my security deposit. And this,
No. I'm talking about your form that grants a stay.
I didn't know anything about that, and I tried to explain that to her today. They told me to put in an SCR, and that's what I did.
Judge Barr does.
Who told you this?
SOA. Because we didn't even think that we were going to have to go this far.
Yeah, I know SOS told you that. I'm trying to figure out why the forms aren't being filed with the court. Hey, all right.
It's a mess.
Do you have anything that verifies your February rent is set, ma'am?
From Section 8.
Yes.
I just have the paperwork, the change of packet I put into Section 8. And I have an email from my worker saying that she's working on everything. I didn't know that I had to have something saying
No, I
to verify everything. I'm waiting on Section 8.
Right.
But I've done everything on my part.
And your SER, there's been no determination on that.
Not that I know of, sir. No.
So,
I just gotta call spade a spade, right? She's filing all these paperwork in order to stay there and in order to basically get free rent to not work. How many job applications do you think she put in since she got laid off? I haven't heard anything about unemployment this entire time. Did you file for unemployment? You see, because I think that it's not advantageous for her to file for unemployment because that's going to interfere with the margins that Section 8 is able to pay for. And if you file for Section 8, you can keep it much longer. Unemployment, for one, if she hasn't been at her job for a specific amount of time, like over a year or whatever, she wouldn't have a full year's salary for them to go off of unemployment anyway, right? For them to give her a percentage of that. But then also, you don't get it forever. Eventually, depending on how long you're at your job, it will eventually kind of wane off. Whereas if she files a Section 8, there typically really isn't a time frame that they hold you to when you get off, especially traditionally. Now it's starting to be more of a thing where you have a 2-year cap or whatever. But I still think that actually depends on other variables as well. Like if you have a bunch of kids. So if she has a bunch of kids, then she may not be necessarily held to that 2-year cap, especially if they're, well, not even a bunch of kids. If she has kids below a certain age, then I don't think that cap necessarily pertains to her. As well as what I've noticed a lot of people like to do is they like to, once a kid starts to get closer to that cap, and if they're still fertile or whatever the case, then they'll just go ahead and have another one and restart that clock all over again. But let's get back into it and see if we get any more context here.
what's your intent, or how would you get the 1731 paid?
My intent was to make a payment on the 9th and the other payment on the 16th.
All right. You understand the plaintiff's reluctance to do that because they don't have anything saying Section 8 is going to pay your rent for February.
Right.
They're in a contract with Section 8 that states that I'm not working Section 8 adjustment.
I get that, but they need something from Section 8 saying we're going to pay.
That's in my housing contract. When I first moved there, they state that if something happens, Section 8 covers your portion, and they should
No,
know
ma'am.
that. Section 8.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, I
No.
apologize.
All right. I mean, you're not wrong in terms of the language. You're not hearing or listening to what I'm saying. If you were the landlord, and I've got somebody that's behind 1731, right? And there's been something with your Section 8, fine. They're asking for some verification that Section 8 is going to cover that February period.
What they owed
Your
before
February
and moving
rent.
forward.
Okay? They don't have that.
Right.
Follow me?
I do, but the part I don't understand is
We get that they can carry over the payments once it starts, but they need something that they will go retroactively back to before it actually applied to your new situation, is what he's saying, I believe.
it's kind of like they already have a contract with Section 8. Like I explained to her, I can't say I can only cover.
I know they have a contract.
Okay.
But the contract is, but listen, the contract is dependent upon what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So my voucher isn't.
No, because listen to me. Let's say you're saying you reported all this stuff to Section 8, but let's say you didn't, right?
Mm.
The landlord's
That's
not going to
true.
know that. Nothing changes for the landlord on their end in terms of what they're looking at. But let's say then you did submit it to Section 8, but they dropped the ball and they don't do their part. Again, the landlord doesn't know.
Right. They don't got nothing to do with them.
You see what I'm saying? All right. So the issue here becomes how are you? And if you can't get the 1731 paid before February 9th, you got a problem.
I tried to go to a payment arrangement for the 1,700, which I told her I could have it all paid off by the 16th. Way back to work of February, which means I'll just pay on the 9th and the 16th. That'll cover the 1,700. But she wanted me to commit to the other 1,400 for February. That's where our problem came in.
Right. Because they don't, if you listen to me, because they don't know if Section 8's going to pay it. That's why she wants you to commit to pay it.
Right.
If particularly she wants you to commit to pay it if Section 8 doesn't.
I have no problem with that. It's just the way she said it.
See, she wants to put all the earnest and all the risk on the landlord and none on her. It's just this wishful thinking. And funny enough, listen, ma'am, she keeps talking about I'm gonna get paid my last check or something by the 16th or whatever. You better go take out a loan or something and pay it now. And then when you get paid on the 16th, pay off the loan, because that's none of their problem. You see, they didn't waste any time. She only owes like 1,700. That's probably like 1 month. And they already filed, like, let's get her up out of here. Because I don't trust this. She done lost her job and she just immediately just thinks she doesn't have to pay. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if this woman has money saved, has money put away, and she's just trying to be slick and she keeps using this date of the 16th or whatever. I would not be surprised if she has money and she could pay it. I believe she does.
I felt like I was being backed in. How she explained it to me, Your Honor, it was like she was saying I didn't even have Section 8. I was lying, and I was showing her emails.
All right, I've listened to enough here.
Okay. Ma'am, stop, because that's not true. No, that's not true. Ms. Luckoff has been before this court time and time again, and I'm going to tell you.
Her name isn't even hard to say, Miss Lackoff. I'm still going back to that first situation. Her name is not hard to say, Lackoff. It's 2 syllables.
So she doesn't lie to people. She just tells them the truth. It may not be what they want to hear, but she doesn't lie to people. And listen. Because if she called you a liar, I'd be saying the same thing to her. You don't come in here saying somebody's lying to you at all. Because if you tell me somebody's lying, you better bring it and you better be able to prove it.
Right.
Okay, sir, she was saying that I was telling her other than the truth, but I was showing her the emails where we were going back and forth about
That
this.
is absolutely untrue. I'm not gonna, I said that there's no proof.
I'm about done with you.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm about done with you. Because I'm going to tell you what, when I'm sitting here and explaining it to you, you weren't listening to me. So I know exactly what was going on as Ms. Luckoff's talking to you. You're not listening to a darn thing she's telling you. And you're just making up whatever you want to make up to try to figure it out. And then I'm going to sit up here and try to call her a liar. That doesn't work here.
Yep, don't work here.
No, there's no apology necessary. And I don't accept it. Because even after I told you she didn't lie to you, you said it again.
She, in a slick way.
How else to prove that what I'm saying besides trying
The
to.
money's owed. I'm going to find no tribal issue. I'm granting judgment to the plaintiff for possession. Judgment amount $1,731.77. Writ to issue 10 days.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Hold her accountable.
If you can hear and act respectful to people, then I don't have a problem with you. But you don't do it, I'm done.
Hold her accountable.
Bye. Have a good evening.
So can I appeal this or what?
You can appeal it. Paperwork's down the hallway.
Now the true colors come out. Now the true colors come out. Listen, we having a little fun today because, as well as, I could tell, didn't I pick up on the disrespect at the beginning? She started this off disrespecting that woman. Her name is not hard to say. Lackoff. That lawyer. And she thought it was like funny at this other woman's expense. Then she calls her a liar. Then the judge tells her, don't call her a liar. Then she still finds another slick way to still basically call her a liar. Oh, well, she just didn't tell me the truth. I'm so glad he held her accountable because they're sitting here trying to work with you, trying to really understand, even though they don't have to go all the way around to try to understand all these intricacies of your own situation. Ma'am, all they have to know is that you ain't paid the rent, but they're still trying to understand further, and you're just being disrespectful. And then he tells you, okay, you're going to be held responsible for this. Let's see if she can come up with the money now. Let's see if she can find it on the 9th and not the 16th now. I bet you that money's going to come out of somewhere. I bet you. Because she's playing games. And I don't like that. And she's also being disrespectful for no reason. For no reason. Y'all, we're going to leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and actually does help out tremendously. Also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button, then it shows you the points. And since I am a smaller content creator, we actually get more points per hype. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.